Friends, hello and welcome on TechGuruSpeaks.com. Today I would like to describe one of the important features of Java multi-threaded programming, and that is about Java thread deadlock. A deadlock in Java is a situation where a thread is waiting for an object lock that another thread holds, and this second thread is waiting for an object lock that the first thread holds. Since each thread is waiting for other thread to release a lock, that means monitor, they both remain waiting forever in the blocked for lock acquisition state. Essentially, these threads are said to be deadlocked. So that is the basic idea of threads considered to be in deadlock state. Essentially, deadlock describes a situation where two or more threads are blocked forever waiting for each other. It occurs when multiple threads need the same locks but obtain them in different order. A Java multi-threaded program may suffer from the deadlock condition because the synchronized keyword causes the executing thread to block while waiting for the lock or monitor associated with the specified object. Basically, Java doesn't provide any mechanism for detection or control of deadlock situation if they arise. So the programmer is responsible for avoiding them, maybe by altering the sequence of object locks. Below is a program, I mean to say we are now going to demonstrate you a program that will give you the idea of how deadlocks are created and how a programmer will be able to solve the problem of deadlock in multi-threading application. So that is the topic of discussion for today. So I have told about the theory, what is deadlock and how will you be able to deal with deadlock. So that is all theoretical aspect. Now I am going to demonstrate the concept by using the coding example, and for coding demonstration I will be using the NetBeans IDE. So let's move to the NetBeans IDE for coding demonstration. So that is the idea. So now we are going to demonstrate it. So here comes our NetBeans IDE. So now I have written a code here. So it is basically having two objects. The code is basically dealing with two objects, like both of them are considered to be, say, objects of the class named object. So public static object, object1, new object. So in that way object2 is also created. Now from the main method we are going to create two thread objects. Now for the thread 1, which is created from the thread class, so we are using the extends option here. So this is the thread 1 constructor, so it will be showing this particular thread has started, and this is the start method call. That means after calling this method, the new thread, that means the newborn state, will be now moved to the ready to run state or runnable state. So it will be now waiting for its turn to be selected by the thread scheduler. So whenever it will be selected by the thread scheduler for running, its run method will be getting executed. Now within the run method we are having a synchronized block. So that is showing that it is basically on object 1. So it is having normal set try catch block, that is basically trying to pause the thread for 500 milliseconds, that means half second. It is associated with interrupted exception, so that must be caught. Next we are going to put a lock on say object 2. So we are having another synchronized block on object 2. So that is for thread 1. For thread 2 the syntax is quite similar, I mean to say the structure is quite similar, but the order in which the objects are basically used for obtaining locks are different. Like in thread 1 it is like object 1 followed by object 2, but in thread 2 it is like object 2 followed by object 1. So in that way they are basically so trying to obtain the locks on the given two objects, object 1 and object 2. So we have tried to ensure here mutual exclusion by using the synchronized block, because you know that you can say implement monitor synchronization either by using the synchronized block or by using the synchronized method. So here you are using the synchronized block to ensure mutual exclusion of the respective objects for locks or monitors. But for thread 1 it is like object 1 followed by object 2, and for thread 2 it is like object 2 followed by object 1. So in that order the threads are going to obtain their respective locks. So now we will run the program. So we can see it here, like the program is in a deadlock state. I mean to say thread 1 is holding object 1, okay, and thread 2 is now holding object 2. So now if thread 1 is going to grab object 2 which is being held by thread 2, similarly for thread 2 it is going to actually it is now going to say request for the object 1 which is now being held by thread 1. So basically both of the threads are in a deadlock state. So you can see that this kind of situation may arise during the Java multi-threaded program execution. So now we'll have to basically terminate the program. So if I am using a command prompt, I have to press here Control C, but since I am using an IDE for running this program, so there is an option. If I click on this button, I can stop this program. So I have to stop the program abnormally. It is not the normal way to finish the program, because the program cannot proceed any longer because they are in deadlock state. I mean to say thread 1 and thread 2 are in deadlock state. Basically thread 1 is holding object 1 and thread 2 is holding object 2. Now each of them, I mean to say each of the threads are trying to say obtain the respective objects. Like thread 1 is going to grab the object 2 which is being held by thread 2. Similarly thread 2 is going to basically obtain the locks on object 1 which is basically being held by thread 1. So in that sense they are deadlocked. Now let's see if we can change the sequence of the object locks, so that particular technique will be able to solve this deadlock problem or not. As I have already told, it is up to the programmer to deal with the deadlock if that kind of situation arises in the program execution. So now I will be moving to the program. So it is like object 1 followed by object 2. So if I just alter the sequence, like in thread 2 it was like object 2 followed by object 1, but now I am just changing the sequence. So object 1 followed by object 2 in thread 1. Similar syntax is being followed here. I mean to say in terms of obtaining locks or monitors with respect to the shared object. So that concept is applicable to the shared object that we have already say studied with respect to monitor synchronization of Java threads in terms of multi-threaded programming, I mean to say. So now I have changed the order of the locks. So just see. So now it's running smoothly. There is no problem. So by just changing the order of the locks, I mean to say object locks, we have solved the problem. So now they will be running normally. You can see it here. thread 1 started holding object 1, thread 2 started, because already it is being held by, I mean to say object 1 is now being held by thread 1, so it has to wait. Okay, now thread 1 will be holding object of 1 and 2 both, because in that order they are to be, say, having their corresponding locks. Now thread 1 ended, clear. Now thread 2 is holding object 2. Okay, now it is waiting for object 1. After some time it will be getting its control over both of the objects, I mean to say shared objects. It will be doing something like thread 1 did earlier, and after some time thread 2 will be ending. So it is a normal execution scenario. They will be running smoothly, there is no problem. So just changing the order of the locks will solve the problem. So that is the simple trick to follow. So it is up to the programmer to solve the problem. Okay, so the deadlock problem can only be solved by using the programmer's experience, intuition, and the type of intelligent code that he or she writes. Java API will not help you in solving the problem in that sense. It is up to the programmer to solve the deadlock problem by writing your code more intelligently, and it will give the program the desired output. That I would like to say here. So I hope that you have understood the logic of the program. Like, by using this concept we can solve the deadlock scenario that might arise with respect to multi-threaded programming in Java. So I think that you will be now able to implement this concept in your project that will be dealing with multiple threads, and they are going to access shared objects. So the order of the locks are going to be important, and you'll be able to design your code in such a way that there will not be any deadlock. So that is the ultimate goal. I hope that you have thoroughly watched this video and understood the logic behind this program, or the solving of the deadlock situation, which is to be followed by the programmer himself or herself by writing intelligent code. And if you like this video, I will be requesting you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here comes the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website techguruspeaks.com. You will get lot of useful information here, and this is my official email ID, admin@techguruspeaks.com. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.